Hello, everybody. Guess who's back? How long has it been? 4 months? Damn. If any of you were waiting for me, I'm sorry for coming back just now. I really don't have any good reason for that. I was just being a lazy fuck that I am, and what about it? This is not painkiller, so I'm letting myself curse, and if you don't like that, I would say, suck it up, bitch. I also started playing games on my phone. I played Black Desert, I played PUBG and I played Mobile Legends. I don't play this 2 anymore, but I still play Mobile Legends. That game is really popular here in Southeast Asia. Anyway, let's talk about the point of this video, the project. I actually finished this project in like November last year. Wow. Wow. Sorry, the realization just kicked in. It's because of the Copa bullshit, okay? Well, not really. I was just being lazy. Anyway, I'm gonna let Maniakin take it from here. Hi everyone. I'm the news Maniakin. Yes, he made another one. Seriously, he should get over himself. I really hope he sticks with me though, cause I don't wanna end up like this guy. Anyway, have you ever seen a nice doll but it's not posable? I don't know about you, but articulation is kind of important to me. Stiff dolls are like lower class. Like Dracula here. Hey Dracula, can you do this? Or this? Or this?
I can stop being an asshole, you know I can do those.
What a fucking loser.
But I can do this.
Stop, you look like a fucking Nazi. With that being said, let's see if we can do something about it. Before we start, I just want to let you know that this project is kind of ambitious. I mean, we're talking about made to move level of articulation. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. Before we do this experiment, he already has some joints. He has movement at the neck, the arms. They can only rotate though, they can't spread. At the hips, and at the knees. I already separated the head from the body. I thought the hair was sculpted, but it's actually a separate piece. Very Monster High boy. Mark the area under the pecs because that's where we cut. Cut according to the line. I use rotary tool for faster result. By doing this, you can have access to remove the arms from the inside. Do you see those circle? Do you see that circle part? You gotta destroy them to remove the arms. We have successfully removed the arms. Get rid of those extra pegs, we don't need them. I also clean up some parts inside the upper torso to make more room. Divide the arm into 4 sections: the shoulder, the upper arm, the forearm, and the hand. Now we cut. Since we're going to build this back up while keeping the proportion, we have to take out some parts, like the elbows and the wrist here. We don't need those because we're going to make those parts ourselves. Also, if the inside of the arm you have is hollow, it will make your life a lot easier. It will save you time and energy. Unfortunately, that is not the case for me, so I have to drill holes through the forearm and the upper arm myself. Make the holes as straight as possible. Here I'm enlarging the holes using a rasp. For the legs, mark the ankles, the knees, and the thighs. I'm keeping the hip joints as they are because they already work fine. And cut following the marks. And now you can ditch the knees and around 1 centimeter above the ankles. Drill holes through the upper leg and the lower leg. It's basically the same thing we did to the arms. If these parts were hollow to begin with, we wouldn't have to do this. This hole is an accident. Alright, let's get ready to build the whole thing back up. I'll be using epoxy. Mix equal parts of A and B together. Build half a sphere on the top parts of the feet. Do the same thing to the top parts of the hands. I'm gonna call parts that are like this domes. Build domes on the lower parts of the shoulders. Do the same thing to the bottom parts of the thighs. Make the domes as round as possible. Now we're gonna make something that I like to call balls. It's similar to domes, but there's room on the inside. And how do we do that? Starts by drizzling hot glue to form a dome. Do this to the lower part of the upper arm and the upper part of the lower arm. I'm confusing myself trying to explain this. I hope what's shown in the video helps you. Make sure the border is clear, like there's space around the hot glue. If you put too much hot glue, just shave it down using a knife. Use another doll as a reference so you can get an idea how much you need to build. Wrap the part with the hot glue dome using saran wrap. Do it tightly. Cover it with epoxy so it's molding the curvature of the hot glue dome. Do the same to the lower part of the upper leg and the upper part of the lower leg. While we're at it, let's cover up the mistake. After the epoxy is cured, you can pop it off. Remove the hot glue domes. Trim the edges of the balls. Glue the balls to their corresponding parts. I use epoxy glue here. Apply more epoxy on the seam so it'll be hidden. Let's go back to the domes real quick. Here I'm cleaning up the edges of the thighs. Sand them down to make them as round as possible. Do the same to the domes on the shoulders. Now we're going to build something called walls. Walls are basically additions that cover transitions between two parts. For example, the top part of the upper leg will connect to the dome of the thigh. Cover the thigh with cling wrap. Position the upper leg and build the walls around the top part of it. This is kind of tricky, so just take your time and do it slowly. While the epoxy is still curing, put the wall right on top of the dome and twist it. That's why the dome should be round so the parts that connect to them can rotate at ease and leave no gaps. Same goes to the shoulders and the upper arms. The hands and the lower arms, you're making the wrists basically. and the feet and the lower legs, making the ankles. For the top part of the lower torso, it's going to be a bowl, but before we do that, we're going to plant a wire that goes vertically across the body. Well, it doesn't really matter, I guess it can go horizontally as well, but here I'm drilling the holes. Insert the wire. Do the same to the upper torso. Then secure those wires with epoxy. Because the hole is too big, using hot glue would be too much, so just fill it with tin foil. Cover it with cling wrap. Then start making the bowl. After it's cured, you don't want to stick it just yet, just trim the edges first. Mark a plus symbol on it. Using a carving bit, make a plus shaped hole. Do the same to the hands and feet. These will be just slits though, not a plus. The shoulders. Make slits on the bottom part of the upper arm and the top part of the lower arm for the elbows. Do the same to the bottom part of the upper leg and the top part of the lower leg for the knees. We're going to insert a wire that goes across the shoulder and perpendicular to the slit. Get the wire in there and secure it with epoxy. Same goes to the hands and feet, but I forgot to film them. Put screw eyes on the domes of the shoulders. Just screw the screw eyes in place. Put another pair of screw eyes on the domes of the thighs. Now you can glue on the lower torso bowl. Conceal the seam with a fresh layer of epoxy. The bow will be the seat for the upper torso, so trim it to size. Sand it to make it smooth. Temporarily attach the upper torso to the lower torso with an elastic. Put cling wrap in between those parts. Then build a wall around the bottom part of the upper torso. To make the actual joints, you need to make a plate first. Stick 2 pieces of wood on 2 sides and roll a blob of epoxy between them. So my carving bit size is the same as the thickness of the wood. And since we copied the thickness for the joint plate, they will sit nicely in the slits. I created a mock-up for the joint pieces. It's this bean shape. Now we can copy the mock-up to the actual joint plate. Put the joint plate in the right position. Mark where the movement should stop. Then drill holes through the parts that will be inside the slits. Sculpt the elbows and knees using the marks as a guide to stop. They should look something like this. Here's the diagram I made of the measurement for the elbow joint. And here's for the knee joint. Hopefully this helps. The upper torso isn't quite finished yet, so let's trim the excess. The wall actually covered his original pack, so let's sculpt him a new pair. Does this mean he's getting a boob job? Thin down the wall so it will sit nicely on the lower torso. This will work. This will work just fine, I think. Now let's get rid of the molded underwear. Sand it to make it smooth. Well, sand all of the body parts to prepare them for airbrushing. Let's go over again which parts are walls, which parts are domes, and which parts are bowls. I color coded them so it shouldn't be hard to read. Rinse and dry all the parts and paint them. I use an airbrush because I'm fancy like that. Give every piece 3 coats of watered down matte varnish to protect the paint job. It's honestly a hit or miss because sometimes the paint still peels, but well shit, at least I tried. Let's give the body details like blushing and drawing on the body hair. Doll customization is not doll customization without a face up, so let's do that to him. Alright, this is his new face. Now let's assemble the doll using elastic. Luckily I found it in a matching color. We're going to put the arm together first. Pass the elastic through one of the holes of the elbow joint. It should be somewhat symmetrical so it doesn't really matter which side. Then thread both ends of the elastic through the lower arm. The tension right here will make it possible for the parts to hold the pose, but it needs room to move around. That's why it should be inside a bowl because a dome doesn't provide any room. Pull the elastic until the elbow joint slide inside the slit. Then tie it to the hand. Cut another piece of elastic and pass it through the other hole. Thread it through the upper arm. Then tie the elastic to the screw eye on the shoulder. And that's how you assemble the arm. Assemble the other arm and pass an elastic through the armholes. Thread one end of the elastic through the shoulder. Then insert the elastic back to the armhole. Attach the other arm. Tie the knot inside the upper torso. And that's how you install the arms. To assemble the legs, it's basically the same as you do the arms. Elastic goes through the knee joint, elastic goes through the lower leg, elastic tied to the foot. Elastic goes through the knee joint, elastic goes through the upper leg. Elastic tied to the thighs. And that's how you install the leg. Attach the upper torso to the lower torso by tying an elastic to the bars inside both sides. Okay, the body is fully assembled. Let's check this out. Finally, we can reunite the head to the body. And with this, we call it a doll.
Did someone say articulation?
Oh, hi Dracula, you look different.
Dracula is no more. Call me Artie now because I am articulated.
Are you serious right now?
Anyway, Akin,
What?
can your hand touch your ear?
Ah, fuck off. When I finished this project, I felt like an engineer. I felt like I earned a degree. I have a PhD in doll customization. I did this because I wanted to see how far I could push it, and I think this is the furthest I can go. The project was exciting in theory, but when I was actually working on it, I didn't have as much fun as I thought I would. Too much precision, too many measurements. It wasn't all that frustrating, honestly. It's just, I didn't enjoy the process that much, you know? So is it possible to articulate a stiff doll? It is, but is it worth it? I wouldn't say so. The result isn't that bad, but I wouldn't say it's good. Though, if you decide to do this, hopefully your result will be better than mine. This is a one-time experiment for me. I don't think I will do this again, ever. Even if someone pays me, I won't do it. Anyway, I noticed some of you commented about how monotone I sound. This is just the way I talk, alright? I'm sorry that I'm not oozing enthusiasm. This is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you want to. See you in the next one. Bye.